awaken in a damp stone cell. Ugh, my head is so dark. I try to create a little light, but no luck. And my magic's still not working great. Once my eyes adjust, I can make out a pile of straw, a bowl, and a bucket. I don't even want to know what the bucket is meant for. I crawl over to the bowl and squint at it in the darkness. Looks like some kind of bread, useless for a cave. I make my way to the bars and have a look around the room. The only light comes from a sputtering torch and the moonlight streaming from a tiny window. Do humans prefer the darkness, or is this just something they do to their prisoners? I can see a single guard standing to the left of my cage. Maybe I can threaten some answers out of him.
Listen here, you!
The guard slams the butt of his spear into the bars of my cell, making a terrible sound.
Nothing to say to elemental filth! Get back!
Elemental filth? Clearly I'm not getting anything out of this guy. I back away from the bars and slam my fist in the wall in frustration. Did I just feel that stone move? I chance a look at the guard, who appears to be staring at the wall ahead of him, and give the stone a light tap with my fist. I'm sure of it this time, it moved. I casually lean against the wall and begin tapping the stone out with my hand hidden behind my back. It's slow work, but I feel my hope coming back to me with every tap of my fist against the wall. Eventually, I feel the stone pop out the other end, and I'm able to push it out all the way with my hand. I feel almost giddy with relief. I need to look through, but I can't arouse suspicion. Okay, calm down. I can't let that anything unusual is happening here. I look around the cell and my eyes fall upon a sad little pile of straw. I crawl over to the straw and gather it up in front of the hole to make it appear as if I'm going to sleep. I lay my head down on my makeshift pillow and look through the hole. I clasp my hand over my mouth to keep from making a sound. Caspian is in the cell next to me, and he looks really awful. He sustained several bruises, and he seems to be either asleep or unconscious. Please just be sleeping. I decide to chance a whisper.
Caspian!
No response.
Did you say something?
Just whispering an elemental prayer, sir.
Well, keep it down in there!
He rattles the bars of my cell again. Caspian is close enough that I can reach out and touch him. I reach my hand through the hole and gently stroke his hair. Poor Caspian, you didn't deserve this. Caspian groans quietly, but does not wake up. A long stretch of time passes before he awakens. He sits up with a start, looking around wildly. He must have gone down in the middle of a fight. Before I can do anything, Caspian discovers the hole and lies down in his stomach to peek through. When he sees me, the look on his face is almost something like relief, an uncharacteristic display of emotion for him. He gathers some of the straw in his cell to make a makeshift pillow and lays down as if to go to sleep. He taps his ear and points at me. When I press my ear to the hole, he cups his hand around his mouth and whispers to me.
Are you hurt?
No, I'm all right. But what about you? What have they done to you?
Those treacherous dogs knocked you out just as soon as we'd left the village premises. I could not allow them to injure or kill Akash's only female.
Caspian, I'm so sorry they did this to you.
It was my choice to get involved in this matter. Do not apologize to me.
I'm sorry it happened like this. But I'm glad you're here with me, Caspian. I feel safer with you.
I am simply fulfilling my duty.
I expected a response like that, but he sounds sort of embarrassed. I decide to take a chance and reach through the hole.
What are you doing?
Please? It's cold and uncomfortable and a bit scary here. Would you hold my hand?
No response. I should have known better than to try something like that with him. I start to withdraw my hand, but something stops me.
Thank you, Caspian.
I like his little blush.
If we are to escape, you'll need to have your wits about you. Try to rest. I will devise a plan in the meantime.
The cell is uncomfortable, but his warmth helps put me at ease. I fall asleep holding his hand through the hole. I could swear I heard someone was whispering my name, but I'm sure it must be my imagination. I turn over and decide to go back to sleep, but a strong hand grabs my shoulder and shakes me roughly, jerking me awake.
You are wasting our time. Get up.
I roll over to the sight and am armed, draped in blue, retreating back through the hole. I crawl closer and peek through, bringing my face to face with Caspian.
At last you have awakened.
After all we've been through, you couldn't think of a gentler way to wake me?
Gentler? You did not respond to me calling your name. What would you have me do?
A kiss would be nice.
It is physically impossible for my lips to reach yours.
I know that. I'm just giving you a hard time. Seriously, just don't be so rough next time. Anyway, have you arrived at a plan?
Yes, I shall bait the guard into fighting me by insulting his honor. Then when he enters my cell, I shall overpower him and take the keys.
Caspian, how many men did it take to subdue you?
5, but they were armed, and I was not.
Right. Now look at you, and look at that guy.
I cannot see him from here.
Figuratively, Caspian. You're like twice his size. There's no way he'll agree to fight you one-on-one.
Perhaps. But this human does not seem exceptionally intelligent to me.
Yeah.
Perhaps we could use that to our advantage.
What are you thinking?
Just lie still and let me do the talking. What I need from you should become apparent rather quickly.
Okay. I'm trusting you to handle this.
I will not fail you a second time.
What do you mean a second time?
Do not waste time with such questions. Get into position.
I open my mouth to protest, but before I can respond, I hear a terrible noise echoing through Caspian's cell. It's as though he might have thrown his food bowl at the bars. It shatters loudly, startling the guard. I roll over onto my stomach and let my hair fall over my face. I hear the guard's footsteps stomping over to Caspian's cell.
The boss never told me I couldn't kill you, so keep it down in there or I'll...
Yes, but tell me, how long until the sun rises?
2 hours, maybe? I don't carry my pocket watch on patrol, idiot.
Oh no. You poor man, they had no right. No right at all. What a cowardly thing to do.
What the hell are you talking about?
You have no idea what is about to happen to you, do you?
Spit it out before I run you through with my spear.
Well, every man has the right to face his death with dignity, does he not? I suppose you deserve to know what manner of death is coming to you.
Death? What are you talking about?
Have a look in the cell next door. What do you see?
I can just barely see through my hair covering my face, but I can make out the guard peering into my cell.
Your little friend is sleeping.
That is not sleep. She is just barely clinging to consciousness as what's left of her life force slowly ebbs.
What are you talking about? She was fine a few hours ago.
They really did not tell you. But I suppose such behavior is to be expected from humans.
Just tell me already.
Very well. Have you never wondered why there are so few elemental females?
I really don't care. Get on with it!
All right then. Skipping to the end, a great and fearsome elemental queen decreed long ago that whosoever removed a female elemental from her homeland for longer than 2 days would die a horrible death.
What?
His blood will boil, his skin will melt, his organs roil, his...
You're lying!
If only. Surely you do not think I wish to see such a gruesome sight.
So you're telling me her and I both are gonna die?
I wish it were not so. But at this point we are quickly approaching the sunrise of the second day, so it is too late for her.
And me?
Well, no. But surely you do not intend to abandon your post. That would not be enough to save your life anyway.
I'm not saying I believe you. But what would be?
It is complicated at this late stage. But I do know an old elemental prayer that might work.
So you'll help me?
Why should I?
I'm sorry about your friend, but there's no need for both of us to die, man! I'm just following orders. I don't run anything around here!
Your piteous begging has moved me. I will help you. But I warn you, in order for this to work, both of us will have to be in her cell.
What? You're just trying to get me to let you out!
Suit yourself. All I ask is that you stay away from my cell. I cannot do anything about the screaming, but I would rather not have to witness the moment of your cruel, accursed death.
Okay, I'm opening your door. But so help me, if you try any funny business, I'll kill you and then all three of us will be dead.
Understood.
I hear the jingle of keys followed by the metal door of Caspian's cell scraping across the floor. For a moment, I can't hear anything. Then slow, cautious footsteps as Caspian and the guard come into my sight. The guard keeps his spear trained on Caspian, but hurriedly unlocks the door and waves him in, pulling it shut behind them. I close my eyes and make my breathing as slow and quiet as I can.
Okay, get in there. Let's do this.
Caspian kneels at my side and takes my hand. He feels for my pulse and shakes his head.
Cut down in the prime of her life. Oh, goddess, what a waste.
Quit wasting time and do the thing before it's too late!
You will have to put your spear down and join me here.
You never said that was a part of the deal!
Perhaps human gods do not mind having instruments of violence being used during your prayers, but our goddess is quite particular about that. Still, it is your life, not mine.
The guard hurries away for a moment, then kneels opposite Caspian.
Oh, goddess, please spare this innocent man from the Queen's curse. He is but a lowly guard.
I steal a glance at the guard. His head is bowed and his eyes are screwed shut. Time to strike. I launch a kick at his face and catch him off guard, sending him sprawling across the floor. I leap up from the floor and grab the spear, rolling it around in time to strike the guard with the butt. He lies on the floor in front of me, gasping for breath. I must have knocked the wind out of him. I point the spear at his throat.
You aren't dying?
I have questions, and you're going to answer them.
Or what?
I press the spear tip to the guard's soft neck, hard enough to draw blood. It trickles down the side of his throat.
All right, ease up. No need to get violent. I'll talk.
Caspian says nothing, but he nods to me. He seems to approve.
Tell me how they're suppressing our magic.
We found this necklace in some old elemental ruins a while back. Our shaman figured out at some point it can be used to interfere with elemental magic. We don't really know much else about it, though.
Where can we find this necklace now?
The shaman never seems to take it off, so probably somewhere in the temple.
And just where is this temple?
It's on a hill at the north end of the village. It's pretty obvious.
You're going to have to do better than that.
I poke him lightly with the spear, just enough to produce a yelp from him.
Sorry, please. It's a huge blue building. You can't miss it. Columns and a great flame that never goes out. You'll know it when you see it.
Thanks. You've been super helpful.
What happens now?
You'll have to ask someone else.
I bring the spear butt down onto his head, knocking him out.
You really took your time earlier. A moment longer and he might have begun to suspect something.
Hey, I got it done, didn't I? Let's just get out of here.
What of this coward?
I reach down and grab the keys from the guard's belt, and use them to lock him in the cell. I toss the keys across the room.
We don't have to worry about him for a few hours at least.
Caspian cracks the hallway door open and peeks through, searching for any sign of danger. He beckons me forward.
Clear. Let us leave before his replacement arrives.
I'm right behind you.
I follow Caspian outside into the hall. We step out into the hallway with a large window in one wall. Caspian takes a look around the corner to ensure we're still alone, then beckons to the window.
We are the least likely to run into any resistance if we climb down through here.
Can we even climb down this wall? I can't see anything from here.
Caspian pushes the shutters open and climbs out, disappearing from view without another word. I stick my head out over the ledge and see Caspian just below, waving me down.
Come down. The ledge is quite safe.
Okay, on my way down.
I climb out of the window, taking great care to shut it behind me before climbing down to join Caspian on the ledge.
Where do we go from here?
We must climb down, of course, but... Do you hear that? It sounds like running water.
My ears aren't quite as attuned to the sound of water as yours, but I think so.
We must locate it.
It sounds like it's around the other side.
There. Could it be a part of the Almus River?
A narrow but deep-looking stretch of river runs along the side of the building and through the village.
The water looks awfully dark for the Almas. You don't think it's dirty, do you?
How long can you hold your breath?
Oh, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes? I don't swim much anymore.
Before I can even finish my sentence, Caspian throws his arms around my waist and jumps off the ledge, dragging me with him. I take in a deep breath as quickly as I can before we plunge into the cold, dark water. I can't see a thing, but Caspian seems to know where he's going. He tucks me under one arm and navigates with his free hand. I'm torn between irritation at his refusal to inform me of his plans and reluctant admiration for his ability to take charge of our situation. Must have gone by because I start to feel like I'm on the edge of passing out. I pound on Caspian's chest with my fist urgently, and he seems to get the message. We surface, and I gasp, taking the sweet air in.
Take another deep breath. We must continue.
Give me a minute to catch my breath, Caspian!
We do not have time to wait for you to breathe.
Would you rather swim with a corpse in your arms? Just give me a minute.
I take a moment to look around. We seem to be on the edge of a village. There's some sort of fruit orchard on either side of us. My eyes alight on some reeds by the riverbank. Caspian watches me curiously as I grab one and snap the edges off.
What are you doing?
I can use this to breathe. There's no way I'm going to keep up with you otherwise.
Good. Let us be off then.
Wait, where are we even going? We have to get to the temple and find that artifact.
Yes, I am well aware. I can detect traces of powerful magic in the currents, and I am following them to their source. That is where we are currently headed.
That's great, Caspian, but I'm going to need you to start sharing your plans with me. We're supposed to be a team, and you're just dragging me along like I'm your subordinate.
Well, you're aware now, are you not? Prepare your reed and hold on to me.
Goddess, you are infuriating sometimes. No, you know what? Most of the time. All right, let's go.
I fill my lungs once more before following Caspian into the current below. As Caspian and I continue our journey upriver, the water grows cleaner. Eventually, we reach a point where the river is diverted off into a tile-lined canal. I am forced to abandon my reed. It's a tight fit, but Caspian and I manage to swim up the increasingly narrow path. Eventually, we emerge in a wide, shallow pool. I look around the room, trying to get my bearings. It looks like we must be in the back of the room of the temple. There's not much in here aside from the pool and most like some ceremonial candles. The room is decorated with chipped mosaics. Several pipes run out of the pool and across the wall. This pool and the river must be used as a water source for the temple.
The source of the magic is close. Even you must be able to sense it now.
Even me?
I simply meant someone like you who is less sensitive to the changes in the water.
Well, you're right. I can definitely feel it here.
Out of the water, my ability to track the artifact is lessened. Ordinarily, it would be nothing for me to track the source of such extraordinary energy, but this block has made things considerably more difficult. I shall require your assistance.
What do you need me to do?
Simply concentrate on that magical energy, and place your hands upon mine.
Caspian holds his hands out to me with his palms facing up. It's strange to see him in this vulnerable position. I've never seen him ask anyone for help before. I place my hands upon his and close my eyes, concentrating. I don't know if this is going to work, but here goes nothing. I will myself to focus on that intense power, steering my mind away from the distraction of Caspian's hands on mine, or the fear of being caught and thrown back into the tower dungeon. Or worse. Focus.
That will do. The artifact appears to be somewhere in the back of the temple.
Well, if you're ready, lead the way, I guess.
You seem hesitant.
I'm just a bit nervous. And we're walking through this place soaking wet. It makes me feel even more vulnerable.
Water is a part of your very essence. It should fill you with comfort. However, you might dry yourself off with some of those robes there.
Is that sacrilegious?
Do you fear human gods?
Well, Maybe not specifically, but I don't like the idea of disrespecting any deities.
Ask the human gods for their forgiveness then. Or embrace your heritage. But do it quickly.
Embracing my heritage it is, then.
Caspian looks at me awkwardly for a moment, then puts his hand on my shoulder.
Do not be afraid. You are a capable fighter. Far from the best in our class, but impressive nonetheless.
Do you usually insult people while you're trying to comfort them?
If you are feeling well enough to argue, perhaps we can be on our way.
After you.
We enter into a large open space. A pool with a fountain trickles serenely, sending beautiful reflections of light dancing across the tiled walls and ceiling. If not for our current predicament, I might be tempted to call it beautiful. My breath catches in my throat as my eyes fall upon a human monk in a robe, kneeling at the end of the pool with his head bowed silently in prayer. I whisper to Caspian.
What do we do?
We cannot attack a man in the middle of a prayer, nor can we allow him to raise the alarm.
Maybe if we hurry.
The monk opens his eyes and looks right at us, still mouthing a silent prayer. I walk right up to the fountain and kneel next to the monk. The monk regards me curiously, never ceasing from his prayers. I bow my head in reciting an old elemental prayer before returning to Caspian. The monk glances at us for a moment longer, but turns back to the fountain and closes his eyes, losing himself in his devotions again.
Perhaps there are some lines even humans will not cross.
I hope so. But let's just go before someone else decides to join him.
Caspian and I enter the long hallway, lit by flickering torches. Where the last room was beautiful and almost inviting, this hallway is opposite in every way. The temple has been quiet up to this point, but the silence is eerie and uncomfortable here. There are several doors along either side of the dimly lit corridor, but Caspian leads us past all of them before stopping at a massive door at the end of the hallway.
The necklace lies beyond this wall. We should expect resistance, so prepare for a fight.
I'm ready, Caspian.
Caspian nods to me, then slowly pulls the door open. As the doors swing open, a shiver runs down my spine. I feel an awful sense of foreboding. It reminds me of how I felt the morning of the human attack on our village. The door opens to reveal a lavishly decorated room. Even in the dark, I can see the gleam of gold and precious stones all around. My heart leaps into my throat as my eyes land upon the sleeping form of the shaman. The necklace glows dimly in the dark room, almost synchronizing with his breathing. Unfortunately for us, it appears the shaman really doesn't ever take the necklace off. Caspian and I look at each other for a moment, but we can't confer right now. I make my way over the bed without waiting for Caspian's reaction. I can feel his distress, but we don't have time for anything else. I step lighter than I have in my entire life. My heart is hammering in my chest. I hold my breath and stretch out my hand. I step lighter than I ever have. My heart hammering in my chest. I hold my breath and stretch my hand out towards the gem, inch by painful inch. Could it really be this easy? We'll just take it and go? Just as my hand is about to reach the necklace, the shaman's eyes fly open, and the necklace crackles to life. He sits straight up in his bed and extends his hand towards me, hurling a bolt of energy at me. I don't even have time to react. I brace myself for the pain, but before I know it, I'm on the floor. I look up to see Caspian behind me. He must have thrown me out of the way. He catches the brunt of the blast and it knocks him to the ground, leaving him clutching at his chest and gasping for breath. The shaman jumps out of bed and takes aim at Caspian again, but I can't let that happen. In desperation, I jump forward and make a grab for the necklace. My fist closes around the immense jewel and then... blinding, white-hot pain! My body goes rigid and my own screaming fills my ears. My eyes roll back into my head and I can't see anything for a moment. But while the pain is intense, underneath it there's this massive power, like nothing I've ever felt in my life. The energy surge feels like an eternity, but it only lasts a few moments. I open my eyes and see the shaman preparing to blast me. I smash my free hand into his face and hold on as tightly as I can. Wave after wave of elemental magic flows through my hand and into the shaman, battering his body. He crumples to the ground, seemingly unconscious. As he falls, the chain around the necklace shatters, leaving its broken remains in my hand. I fall to my knees and catch my breath for a moment, trying to compose myself. I look over to where Caspian is lying on the ground. He looks pretty bad. I crawl over to him, necklace in hand.
Caspian! Are you alright?
I am fine. The necklace.
I look at the necklace in my hand. Somehow the chains appear to have repaired itself. I throw the necklace on, deciding not to question it for now. With that settled, I help Caspian to his feet, throwing his arm over my shoulders to support him.
I had hoped things would not end here. But dying in service of one's people is the most honorable death there is.
What are you talking about? We're not going to die here. We'll get out of here. I'm going to try something.
I close my eyes and concentrate, ignoring the rising wave of anxiety in my chest. Dear Goddess, if you're listening, please grant us your favor. Help us find our way home. The amulet sends waves of magic power humming through my body, and I give myself over to it entirely. I open my eyes and see... a mass of rolling, angry water coalesces into the serpentine form of a leviathan. It opens its mouth and roars an unearthly sound that sends a chill down my spine. It scarcely fits even in this massive room. It's coiled upon itself a few times over.
This is ancient magic. How?
I don't know, but we don't have time to figure it out.
As I approach the leviathan, it lowers itself to the ground and looks at me expectantly, as if to invite me to ride it. I give its neck a hesitant pat, and when I find my hand doesn't go straight through it, I climb up and help the Caspian up behind me. He murmurs to himself.
Never thought I'd see former glory.
I blast a hole in the ceiling, sending chunks of tile in every direction. I wheel the Leviathan forward, and miraculously it obliges, rising up into the air as several monks come streaming in through the doorway. They gape at us as we fly away. A less mature elemental might be tempted to leave them with a rude gesture. Yup. The temptation is too great, and I flash on the most vulgar gesture I know. Caspian shakes his head weakly behind me.
Do not lower yourself to their level.
Too late.